Welcome to the release of the 14th Annual Arts in Schools Report. Please submit any questions you may have at the end of this report to the link shown here, or you may email to artscount@schools.nyc.gov. Thank you. I'm Maria Palma, Executive Director for the Office of Arts and Special Projects, and we're excited to share the progress in arts education that is being made in New York City's public schools. It is my honor to introduce Chancellor Garranza, whose passion for the arts and commitment to equity inspire us all.
This is Chancellor Richard Garranza. I don't have to tell anyone here today that New York is one of the world's great art cities and home to the most celebrated museums, theaters, cultural centers, and concert halls. In good times and bad, New Yorkers turn to the arts to reconnect with our humanity and come together. It's an honor to lead a school system that values the essential role of the arts as a core content subject in the education of our 1.1 million students. Over the years, Mayor Bill de Blasio and I have invested in laying a foundation for high-quality sequential arts instruction as fundamental to a well-rounded education for all students in every neighborhood and every borough. The DOE's Arts in Schools report for 2019-2020 underscores our conviction that arts instruction must be rigorous, it must be inclusive and reflective of the diversity of the communities and students the DOE serves. I would like to recognize the incredible legacy of my friend Paul King, who led the Office of Arts and Special Projects for over a decade. He was a tireless champion for arts education for all students, and we value the efforts of his team who have carried on the work, even during this pandemic. In June, we celebrated the artistry of thousands of our students in virtual performances that are hosted on our DOE website, Celebrate Student Artists. If you need a shot of hope, visit the site often as I do. Our student artists are inspirational. I also want to thank Commissioner Gonzalo Casals and his team at the Department of Cultural Affairs for a long-standing partnership that includes the services of Materials for the Arts in providing free materials to all of our students. Together, we share a vision across agencies to strengthen diverse arts education for every child in New York City public schools and connect the Department of Education schools to local cultural organizations to bring culturally resonant art education to our students. Thanks also to the DOE's Dr. Linda Chen, Larry Pendergast, and Lucius Young for your vision, your leadership, and support of the work to serve our schools and students. We are grateful for the extraordinary generosity and support of our philanthropic community. Jody and John Arnold, New York Community Trust, Arthur Miller Foundation, the Schubert Foundation, Agnes Gund, Paul Simon, and Exploring the Arts. We thank the Fund for Public Schools and their ongoing assistance. Special appreciation to the Arts Committee, to the Panel for Education Policy for the recommendations and helping us to keep our eyes on the goalposts of equity in the arts for all students. I want to applaud the talents and creativity of our students as well. Our dedicated arts teachers who nurture their potential, our school leaders who invest in quality arts instruction, parents who support their children's artistic endeavors, and our partners in the cultural community who make critical contributions to our schools. While much progress has been made towards reaching our goal of universal arts instruction, we have more to do. And in facing the devastating impact of this pandemic on our city, we must pivot to a new reality. But we can harness the power of the arts to build resilience for our city students, nurture social-emotional learning, and promote respect, empathy, and social justice advocacy. In the spirit of great challenges our city now faces, we are committed to a strategic arts plan that will strengthen arts education and build upon our many years of progress. Thank you for your unwavering support and dedication to our students. Let's make arts a reality for all.
Thank you, Chancellor Garranza, for your unfailing support for a strategic arts plan that will bring equity and excellence to all our students in every zip code in our city. It is fitting that we open this report by honoring Paul King, a bold champion for the arts a visionary leader, the man who steered the efforts for equity and excellence in arts education for all students, our colleague, our friend, our inspiration for so much of the work we do alongside our cultural partners on behalf of the students, teachers, and school leaders we serve. Paul assembled an extraordinary group of passionate professionals dedicated to equity and excellence in the arts. They work with heart and incredible expertise every day on behalf of our students. Darlene Garner, Director of Arts Education Accountability and Support. She is the godmother of this report and has worked tirelessly to bring it together, along with Ellen Mauser, Program Manager. I'd also would like to acknowledge Trenton Price, our Director of Operations, and all of our arts directors, Peter Avery, Anna Neri Fragoso, Liz Guglielmo, and Karen Rosner, along with our borough arts directors, Joanna Berenson for the Bronx, Dr. Jessica Engelhart for Staten Island, Joy Pace for Brooklyn North, Dr. Valerie Luzonis de Velasquez for Brooklyn South, Rachel Shapiro in Manhattan, Janet Velasquez, Queens North, and Dr. Nina Lasky, Queens South, along with the entire arts office who execute so brilliantly. I'll be joined today by members of the arts office in presenting the annual arts report. It truly takes a village as we work together to achieve excellence and equity in arts education. Our gratitude to Chancellor Garranza for his vision in leading our schools and valuing the essential role of the arts in a quality education. Thank you to Commissioner Casals for his passionate commitment to the arts and arts education for all communities throughout the city. Our deepest gratitude to the leadership of the Division of Teaching and Learning, to Dr. Linda Chen and Lawrence Pendergast, and Lucius Young for their incredible and ongoing support for the work and their belief in our students. Thanks to the Arts Education Committee, to the Panel on Educational Policy, who provide recommendations and diverse perspectives for arts education. To Metis Associates, who worked with us on data collection and analysis for this report. Warmest appreciation is extended to our funders, Jody and John Arnhold, the Schubert Foundation, Arthur Miller Foundation, Agnes Gund, New York Community Trust, Paul Simon and the Simon Family Foundation, Exploring the Arts, the Harkness Foundation for the Arts, and to all our arts and cultural partners who are so critical to the success of arts education in our city. The entire report will be available online following this release. Please keep in mind that this year's report includes data from the school year 2019-2020. The last 3 months of the school year were interrupted, as was the world, by the COVID-19 pandemic. So it is a portrait of progress and then of a very dramatic upheaval and pivot to a changed environment. This high-level snapshot demonstrates that there is still need for more progress at the elementary level in meeting New York State educational guidelines for the arts. In the 2019-20 school year, 78% of all New York City public schools responded to the survey. The response rate was lower than usual in this year due to the demands that schools faced in pivoting to remote learning and disruptions caused by COVID. The survey collects information on arts disciplines offered, supports provided for quality arts education, the number of certified school-based arts teachers, and cultural arts organization, partnerships, and other points of data. This morning, we will profile some highlights of the report, as you can see outlined in this slide. What follows are highlights of the executive summary for this year's report. It is important to note that during the pandemic, New York State Education Department provided guidance that offered flexibility to schools regarding instructional hours for required units of study. This will be footnoted in the report when you review it in its entirety.
This section presents data on all schools serving elementary school grades. District 75 schools and schools that exclusively serve special needs students are not included. 86% of elementary schools, 550, excluding multi-grade schools serving an elementary grade, responded to the annual arts survey. As shown in Figure 1, of the schools that serve pre-kindergarten in 2019-20, 95% reported that they provided visual arts instruction. 92% provided music instruction, 81% reported providing dance instruction, and 72% reported providing theater instruction to their pre-kindergarten students. Figure 2 shows that of the schools that serve kindergarten students in the 2019-20 school year, 96% reported that they provided visual arts instruction to their kindergarten students, as compared with 86% that provided music, 65% that provided dance, and 62% that provided theater.
These next two slides relate to arts instruction provided to students in grades 1 through 5. Table 1 shows that in the 2019-2020 school year, nearly all responding schools, 99%, reported that they provided arts instruction in at least one arts discipline to any grade 1 through 5, and about 2/3 of responding schools, 64%, reported that they provided instruction in all 4 arts disciplines to any grade 1 through 5. Table 2 shows that 44% of responding schools reported that they provided arts instruction in all 4 disciplines to all grades 1 through 5. Figure 3 shows the percent of schools serving grades 1 through 5 that offered arts instruction to any grade 1 through 5 by arts discipline. The figure shows that in 2019-2020, 97% of schools reported providing instruction in visual arts, followed by music, 90%, dance, 78%, and theater, 73%.
Now let's look at arts education at the middle school level. The following slides look at arts education instruction at grades 6 through 8 in the New York City public schools. In 2019-2020, 72% of middle schools, 187 excluding multi-grade schools, responded to the annual arts education survey. Table 3 shows the percent of responding schools serving middle school grades by the number of art disciplines provided to any grade, grades 6 through 8. Of the responding schools in 2019-2020, 99% reported that they offered at least one art discipline to any grade 6 through 8 served, and 80% reported that they offer 2 art disciplines as required by New York State education. Figure 6 presents data on the percent of responding schools serving middle school grades that reported providing dance, music, theater, and or visual arts to any grade 6 through 8 served. Of the schools that served middle school students in the 2019-2020 school year, 91% reported that they provided visual arts instruction, 70% provided music instruction, 38% provided theater instruction, and 35% reported providing dance instruction. The New York State Ed requires, at a minimum, that students complete 1/2 unit or 1 semester of instruction in one of 4 art disciplines, dance, music, theater, or visual arts, taught by a certified arts teacher, and another 1/2 unit in a second arts discipline taught also by a certified arts teacher over the course of 7th and 8th grade years. Table 4 shows that 35% of 8th grade students who were promoted from responding middle schools met the New York State Ed requirements. And Table 5 shows that 85% of 8th grade students who were promoted from responding middle schools completed 2 or more half units of arts instruction in any arts discipline. 1 half unit is the equivalent of approximately 55 hours of instruction.
In 2019-20, 69% of high schools, 264 schools, excluding multi-grade schools, responded to the annual Arts Education Survey. The data in Table 6 show the percent of responding schools serving high school grades by number of arts disciplines provided. In the 2019-20 school year, 99% of responding schools reported providing at least one arts discipline to any grade 9 through 12, as required by New York State, and 10% indicated that they provided all 4 arts disciplines, as required by the New York State Education Department. High schools can fulfill the arts instructional requirement by offering one art form only. Figure 8 displays the percent of responding schools serving high school grades by type of arts discipline provided. In the 2019-20 school year, 94% of responding schools serving high school grades reported that they provided instruction in visual arts, followed by music at 57%, theater at 37%, and dance at 21%. The New York State Education Department requires that students graduate high school with, at a minimum, 2 credits in the arts over the course of 9th through 12th grade. Table 7 displays the percent of high school graduates from responding schools who graduated meeting this requirement. In 2019-20, 100% of high school graduates from responding schools received at least 2 credits in the arts. Figure 10 represents data on the percent of responding schools serving high school grades that reported offering at least one arts sequence of 6 or more credits by arts discipline. In the 2019-20 school year, schools offering at least one art sequence of 6 or more credits ranged from 10% in dance to 79% in visual arts.
District 75 provides educational, vocational, and behavioral support for students with needs. District 75 schools have more latitude in addressing the New York State art educational requirements due to the needs of the students in District 75 and the programming. In 2019-20, 87% of District 75 schools responded to the annual Arts Education Survey. Figure 11 displays the percentage of responding District 75 schools that reported offering dance, music, theater, visual arts, and film. Of the responding District 75 schools, 98% recorded having visual arts as an option, followed by music with 79%, theater with 57%, dance with 49%, and film at 17%.
At this time, it is my great privilege to introduce the New York City Commissioner for Cultural Affairs, Gonzalo Casals. His support of our indispensable cultural partners and his leadership of DCLA gives vitality and strength to our common mission of equity in arts education.
Thank you, Chancellor Garranza and Maria Palma, Director of the Office of Arts and Special Projects at the Department of Education. I really wanted to take a moment to applaud your work and the work of everybody at the DOE and in schools around the city for the work that has been reflected in this amazing report on arts education in public schools. It's really inspiring to see the recognition of the value of arts education in the life of our students, and also the commitment to offer free access to arts education to everyone attending a public school. So thank you for that. I also want to highlight the work of the cultural organizations that the Department of Cultural Affairs has been supporting through our grants. Schools have reported that 80% of our schools have been working with cultural organizations to provide the necessary resources and education in the arts that our schools need. In particular, I want to give a shout out to our teaching artists, art educators, museum educators who had been hardest hit during the pandemic. I started my career as a museum educator, and I continue to be inspired by the work. And I thank you for all the work that you do in supporting our students and families across the city. Lastly, I just wanted to pay tribute to Paul King, who had been advocating for this work for so many years. I'm sure Paul would be very proud to see that his legacy continues in the work of that Maria and her team had been doing, even in an unprecedented year like this one. Thank you, and I look forward to another year of great results in terms of arts education in public schools.
Thank you, Commissioner. Your leadership and advocacy on behalf of our city's rich resources of diverse cultural organizations are critical to the equity goals we all share. For the 2019-20 school year, 82% of schools reported working with at least one cultural arts organization. More than 449 cultural arts organizations were listed as arts partners providing arts education instruction to New York City public school students. Table 31 shows that 88% of responding schools rated the services provided by their cultural arts partners as excellent. Services provided included arts-related field trips, in-school student workshops, residency with direct instruction to students, and teacher professional development. Table 32 shows schools' responses as to whether they plan to continue, discontinue, or had not yet determined whether they would continue services with at least one cultural arts organization. In 2019-20, a greater proportion of schools were uncertain about whether they would continue services with the cultural arts organization than in previous years at 36%. Reasons for discontinuing services included uncertainties around future funding levels, the need for social distancing, and restrictions on conducting field trips.
Now we will spend a few minutes to dive into the numbers of certified arts teachers and the funding and budget behind arts education in our schools. Table 27 shows the number of arts teachers by discipline. These teachers are full-time certified and teaching under their arts certification. These numbers do not capture assigned cluster teachers or dual certified teachers. The numbers of full-time certified teachers of the arts remains fairly constant from 2017-18 to 2018-19 to 2019-20. And we can observe the steady increase of certified arts teachers over the 5-year period, which is great news for our students. Figure 12 shows the distribution of funds budgeted for the arts in millions of dollars for personnel, services/other, and supplies/equipment. For fiscal year 20, which is school year 2019-20, personnel costs totaled $431 million, services costs totaled $22 million, and materials and supply costs totaled $8 million. And diving into those cumulative numbers, you will note that the arts budget distribution percentages are roughly equivalent across school levels. Elementary schools on the left in figure 49, middle schools in the middle on figure 50, and high schools on the right in figure 51. Our arts teachers remain the cornerstone of a high-quality arts education, and that is reflected in school budgets and spending.
This slide summarizes some of the impacts of COVID-19 on arts programming following school closures in March 2020, including necessary changes in services. Teaching, professional learning, and student performances all went virtual. The arts require flexibility and innovation. We are very proud of the adaptations to arts programming that occurred in 2020 due to COVID-19, as well as the solid accomplishments of the Arts Office, arts teachers, school leaders, and above all, the remarkable achievements of our students during a challenging time. We would like to give you a glimpse of what that pivot to remote learning looked like in the arts.
1, 2,
Okay.
ready, and breathe. I'm so sick of all these animals staying in during quarantine.
Hope inside of you, let it shine through.
Do bees make honey in May? Maybe.
Welcome to Dancing with the Doctor.
Whatever landscape you'd like to create, go for it. So have fun, and I can't wait to see what you create.
Senator, you're not listening to me.
We can't do this. It's that simple. I don't understand why we're still discussing.
We're discussing this because it's the only option. Just look at what's happening.
Listen, Stanton. Quiet, all of you. We're not getting anywhere here.
We are proud to share with you the Celebrate Student Artists page on the DOE website. This is an exhilarating look at the exceptional talents and accomplishments of thousands of student artists across our city. During this time, it was critical that we worked together to support our teachers and school leaders during the transition to remote learning. The arts directors and the incredible team at the Arts Office developed guidance that included safety and health precautions for arts classrooms, as well as strategies for blended and remote instruction.
Each year, the report profiles the work of the Office of Arts and Special Projects and the next steps for strategic planning to meet goals of equity and excellence. Key to success is the ongoing and consistent focus of the Office of Arts and Special Projects with school leaders, teachers, families, and our cultural partners. The Chancellor, during his administration, has directed the New York City Department of Education to realign and direct resources with 4 instructional priorities: accelerate learning and instruction, partner with communities, develop people, and advance equity now. The primary focus of resources is squarely on programs that promote and celebrate student artistry and achievement and move the system towards equity and excellence in arts teaching and learning for all students.
Now I'm going to speak about parent and family supports. It is always a priority to bring the arts to families across the city and to engage parents and students in accessing the rich arts and cultural resources of New York City. Our partners in the cultural community are indispensable to the work of providing an equitable and quality arts education to our students. This year was our 33rd annual Arts and Cultural Service Fair, which was held virtually. The arts and cultural community was able to communicate with our school leaders and liaisons despite not being able to assemble in person. School leaders are responsible for setting a vision for arts education for their school communities and executing that vision through hiring and supporting certified arts teachers, budgeting for materials and resources, and scheduling arts instruction to meet New York State Ed guidelines. We applaud their tireless efforts and we work to support them in their endeavors through the Schubert Arts Leadership Institute and ongoing support by the Borough Arts Directors.
Hello, I'll now be speaking on teacher professional learning and supports. Research has demonstrated that effective professional learning is key to teacher retention and student success. The Office of Arts and Special Projects has a robust set of supports for teachers, many of which are made possible through the vision, commitment, and generosity of funders including Jody and John Arnhold for dance educators, the Arthur Miller Foundation for theater educators, National Association for Music Education, and the Paul Simon Music Fellows Program for music educators. These programs provide intensive, job-embedded learning and resources that focus on pedagogy and nurturing student artists at every level. These programs are models for teacher professionalism. Please refer to the full report for a description of these hugely successful initiatives. The Office of Arts and Special Projects provides professional learning experiences for teachers of the arts, fully focusing on the key role of the arts in a complete, equitable, and engaging education for all students. These experiences expand teachers' content expertise, support reflective teacher practice, provide additional pedagogical skills, and promote increased student achievement in the arts. All workshop series are grounded in culturally responsive and sustaining education and align with advanced academic literacies. The role of discussion to support art making, critique, and student engagement is a key component of this year's work for teachers of dance, moving image, music, theater, and visual art. Now I'll speak a little bit about supporting quality and innovation. Innovation is critical to progress, and these are some of the initiatives we believe are making a meaningful difference in closing the equity gap. Federal grant Connected Learning Communities supports blended professional learning communities of arts teachers across the city in inquiry and action research to promote student achievement in the arts. Centrally administered grants to schools that customize supports to multilingual learners and students with disabilities is making a difference in hundreds of schools across the city. The Professional Learning Series for Arts Teachers, focusing on meeting the needs of students with disabilities, is building the capacity of arts educators to differentiate instruction. Collaborating with our colleagues in the Division of Multilingual Learners and Studio in a School, a pilot in the Bronx is focused on developing models for effective arts instruction that maximizes authentic language development for MLLs. Middle School Audition Bootcamp is an intensive program for the New York City Department of Education Title I public school students in partnership with Lincoln Center Education, Studio in a School, Carnegie Hall Weill Institute of Music, the New York Philharmonic, Jazz at Lincoln Center, the New York Performing Arts Library at Lincoln Center, and the Juilliard School, and went virtual this summer.
District 75 seeks to engage families and the community and to leverage partnerships to expand student experiences in and through the arts to support student growth and development.
In 2018-19, Chancellor Garranza's commitment to the arts provided the catalyst for a strategic planning process that would bring to fruition the goal of equity and excellence in arts education for each and every one of our students. This comprehensive process, led by Paul King, was held from November 2018 through January 2019, with 11 focus groups including robust outreach to stakeholders across the city and attended by school leaders, teachers, students, parents, representatives of higher education, and community partners. Feedback from these key stakeholder groups and geographies was collected to inform the DOE's priorities and next steps. The Strategic Arts Plan is aligned with the Chancellor's priorities. The plan emphasizes the importance of the blueprints and the arts standards in a sequential arts instruction, accompanied by grade-level guidance. We must continue to support professional learning for teachers in all 5 art forms to inform the arts in inclusion settings. We must expand the multilingual learners and the arts pilots to develop instructional models to be shared. We need to ensure that the arts align with the instructional leadership framework and the hallmarks of advanced literacy as we build resources and provide trainings for our teachers. We must also work to ensure a strong and continuing focus on the role of the arts in culturally responsive, sustaining education and social emotional learning for our students. At the heart of our work in the arts is collaboration with partners and certified arts teachers to bring the robust resources of our great city to our students and school communities. We value our partners in working with schools throughout the city and recognize the expertise that they have brought to MLL and the arts work, early childhood, pre-K create work, college and career support. In addition, technology and media are avenues that we must continue to exploit. The pandemic has taught us new and innovative ways of communicating with families, and we should build upon that experience. Going forward, we want to explore the potential for platforms to inform various communities about out-of-school time opportunities for families, internship and externship programs, arts and college opportunities. It is essential that professional learning for teachers and school leaders continue with rigorous and evidence-based practices and supports. There are programs like the District 31 pilot that help assigned arts clusters earn their supplemental arts certification that have great promise in ensuring that all students have access to arts education taught by certified arts teachers. The pandemic has had catastrophic impact on the city's economy. We know that budgets will be constrained for some time. Yet, we must continue to be resourceful, innovative, and determined to ensure that adequate resources are dedicated to continuing the progress toward equity and excellence in arts education. We will continue to explore how to maximize equitable distribution of resources for arts, for multilingual learners and students with disabilities, and studio funds for instructional materials and resources in all arts classrooms. We will maintain and grow strong and consistent commitment to culturally responsive, sustaining education in all aspects of arts education. The pandemic may have confronted us with a once-in-a-century crisis. We will have much to do to recover from the aftermath of the crisis and rebuild our economy. In New York City, the arts are an integral part of the way that the city will thrive once again. At the same time, we are entrusted with the mission of guaranteeing all students a comprehensive arts education, pre-K to 12. Our commitment to this goal will be richly rewarded by our students as they fulfill their artistic potential and take their place as proud graduates of New York City public schools and creative, responsible citizens in our great city. Please note that the full report will be available at the link shown on this slide. Also, we welcome your questions and feedback. Please submit questions via this form, and we will provide you in a follow-up email with both the link to the report and the link for you to submit questions. Thank you for joining us this morning. We will end with a song of hope, produced in partnership with the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Liz Guglielmo, our Director of Music, engaged students from all boroughs and grade levels in a collaborative citywide songwriting project to create a new New York City anthem, reminding our fellow New Yorkers that New York City can and will come back stronger than ever. We close with it along with our commitment to work together to ensure that all students will have equitable access to an essential and excellent arts education. We will strive to make Paul King's determined vision a reality, that all schools should be arts schools.
New York is the place where everything comes to life. The streets, the people, the sights, everything is great, but now we have to fight. Yeah.
This wonderful city that we call home. Everybody be smart about what you know. Smells and signs, supermarket lines, looking towards freedom and we fighting for our lives. We're in this together, now and forever. Protesters and the pigeon and feathers of all the places that you might be. And what's just a dream and we hold the key.
Another challenge, face it down. Honor where you came from, hold your ground.
Find strength in the memories and what you learned
from the wisdom of your ancestors. Mama's words, this too shall pass. Don't you fear,
shine bright, count to 10 till the skies are clear.
And if you still feel uncertainty, just hold my hand and sing with me.
No matter what's happening these days, just know that you and me were gonna be okay.
But I know that we're tired of being home. But remember that we gotta stay strong. Stay strong.
The strong, we
must hold on. Helping hands where we belong. Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Staten Island strong. We don't tea back too lightly. Everybody knows that we get spicy. Everybody knows that we get pricey. Show who we are, but don't get dicey.
We stand tall as a freedom tower. Brooklyn Bridge and strength and power.
Proud as lines on the library steps.
Fast like a 6 train, smooth as a jet.
We're gonna make it out. We're gonna see the light. New York is where everything comes to life.
Fashion, culture, history.
I'm so proud to say that the city lives in me.
No matter what's happening these days, just know that you and me were gonna be okay. But I know that we're tired of being home.
Let's fight for our city, y'all.
But remember